Simon Borg-Olivier. I've been teaching yoga for almost 30 years and practicing most of my life, I guess. And about 20 years ago, I went back to university to study to become a physiotherapist. And so I've continued teaching yoga, but also with an understanding of traditional Eastern exercise from a Western medical perspective. Some of the problems I thought I could address with my yoga practice were not being resolved. For example, I had certain congenital problems in my lower spine. I broke my neck when I was about 20 years old. I was doing something stupid with my one and only ever gymnastics class, and I broke my neck. And it resulted in twisting of the middle spine, and eventually the spine became quite straight, and it became compounded with ongoing pressure, and I started to get disc bulges and lower back pain. And the only way I could find to protect my lower back over the years was to tighten the muscles around the lower back, which was partly instinctive and partly because I thought scientific evidence showed that was a good idea. But in fact, it really just made the whole problem worse. And what Master has helped me do, and I've subsequently understood the science behind it, is to really relax the muscles in my back, free my spine, allow it to create more mobility, and I'm finding I get better movement, better energy. I find I can do more with my heart beating less, and all in all I'm having much less pain in my everyday life. It's been tremendous. It encourages us to move directly from the spine. So for example, in a simple movement in calligraphy yoga, you might move the body to the right side and move the elbow to the right side as well. Now that can be done in two ways. You can either move the elbow first and then use that to pull the spine, or, as Master suggests, you make the spine become the first part of the movement, and then the elbow follows last. The same way a whip might work. So when you're using a whip, the hand makes a small movement, and the end of the whip moves a long way with a lot of force. So Master's instructed us to move from the center of the abdomen, and essentially one vertebrae will move first, using its own muscles to move the next vertebrae, using its own muscles to move the next vertebrae. And so you feel like you're moving very freely because you haven't tightened the muscles of exhalation. Counter to a lot of Western exercise, which tends to stimulate increased heartbeat, increased breathing, and stimulates the sympathetic nervous system, commonly called the flight-fight response. Master's system is actually more encouraging the relaxation response, also known as the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, when you think about it, if you're encouraging the flight-fight response, the dominant emotions are fear and anger. If you're about to run away from someone or be attacked by someone, that's your dominant emotion, fear and anger. You don't think about sexual function, digestive function. You don't care about trying to heal from the common cold. So whenever your sympathetic nervous system is engaged, which is what happens when people breathe into the chest continually because their abdomen is drawn inwards, or because they are making their heart beat faster by over-breathing or over-tensing. When you encourage diaphragmatic breathing, as Master is doing, when you encourage relaxation and smooth, natural movement, then the parasympathetic nervous system or relaxation response comes on, and you don't have this dominant emotion of fear and anger. You have just a sensation of well-being.